Hi, my name is Jan Lansky, and this video is about how to body surf. And this is a continuation of the videos, well, yeah, the sequence of two videos that I posted previously on how to swim in big waves. And, honestly, I wanted to mix the two topics together, but it didn't feel right because the big wave topic is just so huge. I didn't feel comfortable putting body surfing in. Body surfing is essential. Why is it essential for swimming in big waves? Well, at the end of the day, you have to get out. And sometimes when the undertow is really ginormous, you're going to need to body surf to get yourself out. So I think it's an integral component to swimming in big waves. But in addition, it's just a lot of fun. It's playtime. Today I was body surfing in some really cool stuff here in Frisco. This is in Hatteras, North Carolina. I mean, today was it was just fun. It was really cool. I try to do this every day, so I want to talk about the techniques necessary to make sure you'll have a good time, you'll stay safe, and if you need the tool set to get yourself out of trouble, you can use it there too. So number one, you have to stay behind the break point where the waves break. If you're in front of the break points, you try to jump a wave, you're going to get crushed by the wave, so you have to stay behind the wave. You have to make sure that you can swim, you can accelerate fast enough to get on the wave, right? That's important. So you have to, you can time that out eventually. What I understand some people do is they wear fins to allow them to speed up faster. I don't wear fins. I just go the way I'm made. And I was also told by somebody who uses fins that allows you to spin in the water. When you're underwater riding the wave, you can kind of spin around and all that jazz. And I mean, I think that's great, but it turns out you could do that without them. I do that all the time anyway by using one lead hand. So I use one hand as my lead, and my back hand I put right like on my tailbone. And by varying, my not, my back hand, I can spin my body. It's pretty cool. So you don't need fins for that. You definitely don't need fins. So pretty much the form is, it is one hand leads, right? Normally, assuming it's safe that way. You jump the wave, right? Right behind the break point, you swim, accelerate, get on the wave. It turns out that if you have one lead hand, you have so much better control by using, your hand behind on your tailbone. You can really do some cool stuff inside the wave. It's kind of awesome. So that's one possibility, right? In addition, in addition to you're just not going to have so much resistance going on. When you put that second hand in front, it's just weird. I only put my second hand in front if I really have to brace for impact. And it turns out usually the impact is on my off hand. So if I have this hand forward, it'll be on the shoulder. Usually I land on, because this protects this side. So after I get beat up on my shoulders a couple times, I put two hands up front and that takes care of that. At the same time, you should always remember that you're made out of water. So your body's going to respond just like the water is. So unless you're hitting waves that are just straight vertical, as long as the water underneath of you hits the sand and projects, you're going to do the same thing. You're not going to smash into the sand unless you make yourself like really rigid. But if you allow yourself to be the water that you're in, you won't even hit the sand. It's really kind of cool, but if you're really stiff, you will. If you make yourself a solid object that's stiff, you're going to ram right into that sand, and then you definitely need your hands. But, it is what it is. So one other thing that I really learned that's kind of cool is lifting up your feet, right? It sounds weird, but when you're in a wave, a really good wave, a solid wave, when you lift your feet up, you're not going to flip over. It just, it gets, it just gets you in the wave better, right? It lets you get higher onto the wave. It's really a neat little dynamic. Straightens out your body as well, so you don't have any curvature in your body, so you're really riding. Turns your body kind of into a surfboard. That's a weird one. That's one that I didn't expect. But lifting your feet gets you really going. It's just so solid, So you go fast, and you feel the form. you know, when you're in the waves, I mean, using your rear hand, if you have a rear hand, you know, I mean, sometimes if safety is an issue, you use two hands. If you really have to brace for impact, I do this, you know, this way, like your hands are going to hit and you're going to roll around your hands, you know. But like, honestly, since I'm like a little more flexible, less rigid, I haven't done that in a decade. Back when I was younger, I used to always be rigid and stuff like that. But now I go with the flow a little bit better. Generally use one lead hand. If the waves are like just collapsing super fast, you know, you kind of get smashed a little bit. So you just get the second hand if necessary. And, you know, if you ride it right, honestly, there's going to be enough water underneath of you that you're never going to get smashed. And that's the key, right? The key is to go far back enough. A lot of people are scared to go behind these big waves. It's kind of weird because it's the safest place to be. When you're in front of them, you're getting smashed. If you try to be a rigid object, right? If you try to stand up like a rigid, you know, solid block, these waves are just going to be smashing. So, you know, most people go under them, but they get smashed every once in a while. You know, just an FYI, you go under them and you turn your body sideways because, you know, your body this way is a very large surface area. When you turn your body to the side, it's a much thinner surface area. In addition, I constantly use elbows and just arms to break the wave, because as soon as you break the wave, it just goes right around you. It's kind of cool. You know, you don't have to like fight the wave or dive under the wave. You just, you know, a little elbow opening, and just the whole thing just wraps around your body. It's kind of cool, actually. So, you know, in addition, if if you're getting back to the spot where, you know, you need to catch a wave, and these massive waves are collapsing upon you, you know, what do you do then? The coolest move that I recently added to my repertoire is, is a simple back turn. It's kind of interesting because I think human beings are very clumsy rolling forward. They just don't do it well. Whereas if you roll backwards, there's a little bit of flow to it. And so I kind of try to time a slow motion. Everything at this time for me is slow motion. Why is it slow motion? Because I like it to be really cool. If you try to rush things, it's a little rigid. When you do it in slow motion, it is the way it's meant to be done. If you're comfortable in slow mo, you can always speed it up if you need to. And so I kind of fall backwards and rotate around and just come right back out on the other side of the wave. It's really cool stuff. Um, and I always do it going backwards, falling backwards. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's about to get hit!" And the roll happens just as the wave's about to collapse upon me, and I come back out, you know, on the other side. And it's a perfect natural roll. You know, leading with the back and rolling around. It's kind of cool. Can't really show you here, but I think just that idea is enough to share. So pretty much get past the break point, get some acceleration, fins if you need them. If not, just, you know, hammer down, just go. You know what I mean? When you catch a wave, try to use one lead hand with a rear hand on the bottom of your tailbone to essentially orient your body however you want. Do spins, do all kinds of really cool stuff. Safety is an issue. You put two hands forward or like this. If you need a brace for impact, you go like this. Generally, I don't remember doing that in recent history. That's like back when I was young. I generally go like this now. I mean, really, if you're like this, it's going to be really hard for any impact, because this arm protects this entire shoulder and everything, and this protects this. And I guess the risk would be for your head in the middle. But I don't know, like if you're smooth and you go with the flow of the water, that's going to be a tough one. You know what I mean? It's going to be really hard to mess that up. But, you know, you got to be, you know, be careful at all times, regardless. You know, respond to the situation, the dynamics that the waves provide. Anyway, so that's, you know, pretty much the video. Yeah, riding, you know, like body surfing, riding in men is not a big deal. And just for clarity, you really, sometimes when you're riding big waves, when the undertow is just insane, you really have to ride the waves to get back to shore. Sometimes you just can't get in otherwise. So it's very important for everyone to know how to do this. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope this is beneficial for some people. And thank you. Bye.